Hello and welcome to this week's appetizer, Skuid App-etizer. Folks are still joining. Thank you for joining us for today. My name is Matt Brown. I'm a product manager here at Skuid. And today we're going to talk about replacing manual processes with declarative apps. What does that mean? Well, we've got Don Souza on the line from our solutions team. And Don, what do you do in solutions here at Skuid?
Hello, everybody. My name is Don Souza. I'm a solutions architect at Skuid. And what I do is I help our customers go from spreadsheets, manual processes, legacy systems, and the like to a CRM app, all declaratively.
Awesome.
Yeah, my nickname is Declarative Don.
Declarative Don. Don de Declarativo. Yeah, absolutely. So glad to have Don with us today. He's seen a ton of Skuid use cases over the years, and yeah, I'm excited to get into this because this is really the point of Skuid. We're all about helping organizations take processes that feel really inefficient, that are painful, that actually make your day worse as an end user, and then making that a lot smoother, more delightful. And it really does improve people's experience. It improves the data quality of your app, because now all of a sudden you don't feel like you're wrestling with the application to get information in there. So we're going to talk about that today, specifically related to kind of the CRM use cases that you might be used to if you're in Salesforce territory. And we're going to be looking at kind of the typical Salesforce data model. And let me share my screen here real quick and give us some context. Make sure I'm sharing the right window there. And hey, just before we dive in, want to highlight Skuid just rolled out our new website. It is beautiful. It's really, really exciting. Great window into who we are, what we do. My favorite part is the bit on the product. Let's see, where is that? I'll see if I can find it. But it's a really good window. Here it is. Yeah. So if you click on Toolkit up here, you can get a sense of all of the areas of Skuid, what we're bringing here, how you're going to be interacting with things. And it's just a really beautiful experience. You should check it out, skuid.com. But yeah, let's get into what we're talking about today. So this is Salesforce. This is the lightning view of Salesforce, which came a few years back. It has really improved a lot over the years. And if you're familiar with CRM, if you're familiar with Salesforce, it splits everything into objects. So you've got your account object, your opportunities objects. These are tables if you aren't familiar with Salesforce, but you're thinking in database terms. And what's great is that I can go build out the data model that I need. And even out of the box, I have the data model that I need. But Salesforce is built in terms of those objects. So the navigation is built around it. So if I want to get into accounts, I go to the accounts page. I click on an account to go get to that. Your account has related lists that are on it that have some interactability. But if you really want to get into it, you might have to go to a separate page. But the point is that we're thinking in terms of objects, and so that's a really good place to start. But a lot of the time when you think about your processes and how your customers, how your end users are actually serving customers, they don't really want to think in terms of objects. They just want to get to the data that they need. But that's our starting point with Salesforce. Now, Don, you've worked with a number of customers. They're not even at that point yet. They're working with spreadsheets or even pen and paper. So what does that transition look like as you move from those more manual processes to even just kind of basic Salesforce?
Yes. I found even with many of my enterprise customers in their business units, they're working in spreadsheets, whiteboards, Post-it notes, butcher paper along the wall, ad hoc Zoom meetings, as well as legacy system. So they have a lot of siloed data. They don't have a single source of truth.
Oh yeah.
And it's just not conducive to the business and management understanding what's going on with the business, what's the real data, and what do we need to do to move the business forward. That's particularly important to do it from a single source of truth, a single CRM system, now that we're all remote during these times. So we need that single pane of glass, a single window of
no, that's really great, and it really points to the real problem that you have to solve when you're building business applications, and it's a problem of trust. Your end user, the classic example of a salesperson, sales rep, not using the system, not getting that stuff in there because they've got everything in a spreadsheet offline. But it works the way they know how to work. It's going to be reliable. It's going to help them close that deal. Your goal in building user experience for business apps is that you have to make them trust the system that you're building more than they trust their own spreadsheets. So it's got to be delightful. It's got to be easy to use. But when you do that, your data quality is going to go up because they're going to realize I only stand to lose by not using the system that you've built. And so that's the argument that you have to make as someone who's delivering an application. And so, Don,
Correct.
You've got a page, a fairly complex page with a number of different things in it. And I think you're going to show us some of the ways that we can help build that trust today. So do you want to show us what you got?
Yeah, let me share my screen here, and I get the right one there. Great.
All right.
Matt, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can. So Don, tell me what we're looking at here at a high level.
Okay, so here we're looking at. We're looking at a view of our CRM data of accounts, contacts, and opportunities. And I would say with practically all my customers, no matter what their business process is I always start, I call that the trifecta of CRM. If an organization knows what's going on with their accounts and they have the right contacts on the account, and then they can create opportunities from those accounts, and they all relate together. So I sort of start with the basics and the fundamentals of those three.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Very cool. Now you've got a number of different elements on the screen here, and I want to call this, we're in Salesforce. You're using Visualforce to show this, but the way Skuid works is that you can use a single Skuid page and expose it in both Visualforce, or you could put it in a Lightning app page as well. No Visualforce at all, just using the Skuid Lightning component. And it's the same page and it works the same, underneath the hood. But you've got a number of different visual elements in here. And so right now, you're kind of slicing things along that accounts axis. So
correct.
I'm an account manager. This looks like it could be really useful to me. And I want to look at things a certain way. So if I'm an account manager, how might I use a page like this? And why is it going to appeal to me over my offline spreadsheet?
Okay, so a couple of reasons. So first, the reason why it's appealing to more appealing than an offline spreadsheet is it's visual. And so what I like to do is I like to represent the same data and the same related data in different visual cues, because us as human-centered design, we understand and we can interact on data in a visually appealing way to us. And so one of the main complaints I get from all my customers, particularly with sheets, is all the data looks the same. So what I do is I do a combination of giving them their comfort zone, which is a table down there, as well as some visual. So as an account manager, I can see my accounts by type. I have a lot of prospects. I have some investors. I can, and the chart in the middle, I can also see by rating. I have some hot, some warm, some cold, as well as geographically. So I see I'm playing the role of a U.S. territory sales manager, and I see, I have some accounts in the West, in the East, in Texas, but not too many in the Midwest. And that can either be good or bad. I'm going to concentrate on those areas, or I'm going to say, hey, I want to do more in the Midwest and sort of act upon it.
So, and this highlights one of the challenges, I think, when you're building business apps is you don't want to overwhelm the user with too much information, but at the same time, you want to give them options in terms of how they might want to view it. So you're letting them see things, by type, you're letting them see things by rating, or by state. And I also want to take a second here and just slight sidebar. What we're doing, this isn't a report. You're actually looking at the data itself. And that's something I think is really important if you're used to working in Salesforce, is when we get into Skuid and we're creating a page with Skuid, we're thinking about things in terms of, what's the term? Is it operationalized BI? So not, business intelligence at this like macro 30,000 foot level. It's more like, with my book of business that I'm working with as an account manager, how am I doing there? What's important? What needs to be rising to the top? And then how do I think of this not just as, a static report or even a report that I can filter down, but I want to actually take action on it. I want to be able to get into some of this stuff, update some contact information, update an opportunity information. So we're merging this idea of reporting and then my day-to-day tasks in CRM.
Correct.
So if I'm an account manager and I come at this is great. You've given me a couple different things, but if I want to slice it a couple different ways, maybe get to a specific data set, what are my options? It looks like I've got some filters, I've got some search that you put in there. What do you have there?
Correct. So I always put in filters for my customers because, again, that's a feature that's a little tougher to do in Salesforce out of the box. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to filter on, say, all my prospects. So I'm going to click on that. So now my charts and graphs and my table have all filtered to prospects. So naturally by type is all one prospect, but now I see which prospects are hot, warm, and cold. I can click on that and see these are my hot prospects. That gives me kind of a drill down view. When I click back, it refilters out.
Now that you've gotten down to a specific data set, it looks like there's some actions that are available at that inline level there. What happens? What can I do at that account level in the Skuid table?
Okay, so what I have here, I have our Skuid row actions here on the right, and there are two that I put in as standard. Is I put the ability to edit in line, as well as sometimes delete, because if it's incorrect data, we want user the ability to modify that. So when I go edit in line, then it becomes an inline editor. And I can, move this from prospect to this is going to be a partner. The data update. So now I have a partner, and then I have my save operation, which becomes enabled.
So let me stop there for a second because no, you're good. You're good. But the point is, this highlights something that's great about Skuid, because when you build with Skuid, if you're an admin and you're a dev that's building a Skuid page, your data layer in the Skuid page and your visual layer with the components, they're connected, but they're separate. And so what that means is that we have what's called a model here that is bringing in our accounts. And then we're using that model to show the data in multiple components. So you've got accounts by type in a bar chart, by rating in a column chart, by state in the geo chart, and then in a table view using the table component. But they're all connected to the same model in Skuid. And what that means is that when you make changes, you see updates across the whole page. And so those are some of the benefits that we get by splitting out what's happening where, making sure that your data layer is doing data layer things and your visual layer is doing visual layer things.
Correct. Because as an account manager, I want to interact with all my data, but it's good to see it in different views. And all these operations, when I did my edit and when I did my save, it went right back to the database. So if I was going to pass a prospect onto a different type further along the flow, that goes right back to the database, and one of my sales managers now, that might be in their queue, all in real time, and
Yep.
we can be working remote, as we all need to do these days.
That's great. Yeah. So now let's talk about the visual layer for a second, because when you clicked on filters, you got that nice little animated sliding panel coming out. That's great. And at Skuid, we're building all kinds of user experiences. So we love things like that just make the application more dynamic. It's less of a static page. Things move, they respond to me. And it's all within the context of this experience of not having to go somewhere else. So that's really cool. And I think we've got another one in the table here. What does that arrow do over on the left next to those accounts, between the account name and the number there?
Yes. So this is, let me do this edit line here, get that back. This is a drawer feature that I put in. So again, one of the main features and abilities I like putting in my applications is to have the user be able to see all their related data in whatever particular view their mental model is. Again, so the accounts view is as an account manager, but yep. I have some customers who are in contact manager mode, or some salespeople that are just in opportunities. So in the drawer, which is a little caret here, I'm able to put the related CRM data, such as the contacts and the opportunities.
Mm-hmm. So you've got nested tables here with actions related to those objects. And so what was really important to focus on here is that we're kind of leaving the whole object model behind, which is really, really good for us to have a foundation with the Salesforce data model. So that's great. But when I think about the user experience, I'm thinking customer. I'm going to go look at my customer, and now I want to know about that customer's contacts, that customer's opportunities. I don't want to think of these in terms of separate objects where I have to go to different places to do things. So you're letting me look at things specifically along this axis, and then I can go see the contacts for that account, the opportunities for that account, with potentially the ability to do inline editing there or other actions.
Correct. Same.
I remember when I was a sales guy at Skuid in ancient years past. This was very similar to a page that we would use to do customer reviews, see how things are going with pipeline, and that ability to kind of see my accounts or my opportunities and then drill down without having to go to another page. For sales people, that's the holy grail. Single page app is really huge. So that's awesome. So it's kind of dynamic. You've got some visual elements that are letting you drill down all within a single page without having to go somewhere else.
Correct. So when I start designing a page, I like to think about it visually and how much space is going to be presented for the data. I know many of my customers are on laptops where screen real estate is a premium. So I try to keep my filters, pop-ups, and my drawers. I try to keep the whole user experience as tight and clean and contemporary as possible, but still give calls to action from my users to act on the data as necessary.
Yeah, no, and that's huge because if you're familiar with Salesforce, list views are great. They even have really good filtering, and they're really, really powerful. But sometimes you might make decisions around what fields are shown, all that stuff, based on wanting to make it as easy as possible for someone to see something on a single page. And with Salesforce list views, you have a limit of, I think, 15 fields that you can put on on your list view.
Yeah.
And so with Skuid, what we want to be able to do is help you to take that to the next level and say, okay, what if you didn't have to worry about getting to that information quickly? So you could actually cut it down to 5 fields or 6 fields at that list level, and then easily drill down to see what you need within the same page. You're not having to navigate away. You're not having to wait for another page to load. And so now all of a sudden, I can be really, really conscious of what is scannable, what's easy to show. You could also go the other route and say, you know what? I'm going to put 30 fields on here. I'm going to put 40 fields on here, and I'm going to let the user choose which columns I can freeze so that I can do some horizontal scrolling and stuff like that. But the point is that we want to take off those limitations and let you think about really that user experience that's going to be the most sticky and compelling for your users.
Correct.
So anything else on the accounts view that you think would be cool for us to look at here?
Yeah, there is another thing that I want to show out. One of the features that my customers had in Sheets that they really want in their app is their comfort zone to be able to edit multiple columns and rows and different fields all at the same time.
Yeah,
I mean, I know when I use Sheet, I have it open and I'm changing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, totally.
And so we showed where we can do it, in line. If I need to make just a real specific, this is no longer hot. Sorry, they've gone to warm. Really targeted and quick. But I also like to put in edit mode.
Oh yeah.
So now the whole thing. Yes.
Yeah.
And I can even toggle my metrics if I've consumed my high level view and I'm just in edit mode and I go, well, they're cold and this prospect is now an integrator. Yes. And et cetera, et cetera. So I could do these on multiple records all at the same time. I'm not going to change the city or state because they're fixed, but you can imagine in any field that the user has edits to, and it gives them their feel. So I understand, my customers, very familiar with, Sheets and Post-its. I use them all the time. It's a tactile feel. So they're really delighted to see that they can still edit, multiple fields. Let's say I did a typo here, and that's really that on this place. So and it saves all to the database, and I get out of edit mode. I can bring my metrics back, and we're back to where we were. So I like to give those type of breadcrumb trails to my users so they can change their views, but get back to the default very quickly.
That's excellent. And yeah, I do want to make sure that we have some time to look under the covers and see what this page is made of, because Don Declarative, this is declaratively built. This is not code to build this out. This is using our component library. So I do want to make sure we have some time to take a look at that. But sure. before we do, what's on if you click on contacts, what do we see over there?
Yeah, a totally different view.
Ooh, cool, very cool.
Yeah.
So cards here.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. So these are like business cards, contact cards. Yeah, I like to give my customers different visual styles and also try to apply the style as much as possible to the type of data that they're looking at. So it looks like a business card. It has their picture on it.
Yeah. Oh man, no, that's great. Now, what can I do as a user with each one of these cards?
So let's say if I click on one,
interaction.
I edit their email. Say, oh, this was, I got the email wrong. It's .net, and their phone number, was wrong. So I can, interactable on it as well. And I also put, buttons to call to action if I wanted to email them, give it a share or give it a favorite. So try to give contemporary type calls to action and things that they would do, even in a social media type metaphor, because
And if you're working with Salesforce, they've got a lot of different actions that you can hook into using Skuid buttons, using Skuid actions. You can call, an email action. You can call, something in Chatter, stuff like that to really tie it into how things are structured on the back end. But yeah, let's park here for a second because you're using the Skuid deck component, which I love the deck. It's so cool. It's one of those things that typically requires a lot of code if you want to get that kind of experience. But I want to point out that the using the deck is not tied to any one object. So you're using a deck here because you're using contacts, and that makes sense. But you could use a deck for accounts. You could use it for opportunities. You could use it. I've seen folks use it for like managing the apps within Salesforce, stuff like that. So there's all kinds of cool things you can do it. And the point is that we don't care what the object is. We let you create that data layer, and then we give you multiple ways of displaying that list of data. And so you've got the table on the one, you've got a deck here. Yeah, that's very cool. Well, we're coming up on time here. Anything else you wanted to show with accounts, contacts, or opportunities before maybe we look at the composer and see behind the scenes?
Yeah, I want to show opportunities because that is a really important part of my customer's business. And this is where the related CRM data really comes to play. And so let's look at this Kent property here. So in accounts, I gave the user the ability to open up a drawer that's on the left. Many of my customers, read left to right. But if they like to keep that real estate cleaner, then I can put my row action over here to show details.
Very
and
cool.
So in this detail sliding panel here, I have 4 related objects. And again, as an architect, I live, eat, and breathe CRM and the related objects.
Yep.
But my customers, many of them, they don't know, they don't care. They just know I have an opportunity. Who do I need to contact? Who's the primary? Who's the economic buyer? Again, I can edit it here and say this person is no longer the primary. This person is the primary. I can save it right there. And I see the account data. So
you got the account information, and is that editable too?
Yes, this is editable as well. So let's say what can I edit?
Let's a relationship to the account, and you're able to edit the account information from an opportunity list page.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. And so the mental model for opportunities could be a salesperson, and they're always thinking opportunity. So I put that content in the main table, but they need to know what's the master account, who's the contact, as well as products, because the opportunity is the sum of the products. And so we know from our CRM that I have a price book on it. And if I say, well, the customer doesn't want this product, I can remove that.
You got in line. That's
line. And I can add more products. Say they're going to go with LifeMit 2.0. They added it today. They want 20 units. I click save. And so as a sales rep, I can learn about my opportunity, who to contact, add my product to it, as well as the task object as well. So I have a quote and a call.
All at your fingertips there.
Correct.
You're doing inline editing across multiple objects, actually multiple related lists, essentially, and then one parent object, the account object, all within this line here. That's hugely powerful.
Correct. Correct. Yes. In CRM land, account is the top of the food chain, and then there's contacts. But again, my customers don't know that. They just know I'm a BDR, so I'm in contact mode. So I want to bring up the contacts page and just email and phone them. Or again, I'm a sales rep. I'm in opportunity mode, and I just need to see the related data all in one view, be able to act on it, and the the structure of the CRM is important to me, so I can present it to them in a declarative way, but they just want to see an interface like this.
That's great. Now, can we look at the composer for this page?
Sure. It's this one here.
Yep. Okay, awesome. So yeah, we're looking at the Skuid Composer right now, and there's a ton of videos out there. By the way, Don has done, you've already done a webinar on ditching spreadsheets and
Correct.
moving to systems. That's on our webinars on the newly re-released Skuid website. And I do want to make a plug. Our next App-etizer webinar is going to be on portals and communities. I'm going to be doing that with Chris Stern. Really excited about that. But yeah, so we're looking at the composer here, and you've got your component library in the top left there. And when you click on things, just a quick refresh for anyone that might be seeing this for the first time. As we click on things, your field properties will show you, your properties over on the right there are going to show you what you've clicked on and what you can configure. So I wanted to take a look at that, some of those actions that you're doing. And I'm sorry, you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. Before anything else, Don, can you show us the models of this page?
Oh, sure, you bet.
Cool. All right. So yeah. So again, models are essentially data connectors. They let us go get to data and bring it into the page. We can pick which fields we want. And so how many different objects are you connecting to in this page?
Let's see. So the user object to make sure that the information coming through is appropriate for the running user. Again, since Skuid sits on top of Salesforce, we respect all their permissions. So as a running user, I can only, see, edit, create, delete on records that the IT admin says I can do. So that's on the user, which you see right here. Of course, I have my main opportunities. And opportunity drawer contact, which is on the opportunity contact role.
Oh yeah, right. Excellent.
Yes. Which is go ahead, Matt.
So what's great about that is that in your page you've got your contacts, so you can go look at the actual contact object, and then your opportunities, you can actually see the relationship, which is the opportunity contact role. So you can easily go back and forth between those here. So it looks like you've got a model for each of the objects that you're bringing into that drawer.
Correct.
So to bring in contact roles, the account information, line items, tasks, and how are you getting the right information, based on the row that you click on?
Okay, so what I do is I put a condition. So you see it here. So this is hopefully everyone can see that here. Let me kind of go up here a little more, where the opportunity contact role object ID is coming from the opportunity ID. So what we want to do is make sure that the related lists, the child data pertains to each particular opportunity row. So of course they get the right opportunities and product price book, right content per opportunity. So very easy to do. We do a condition which just says only give me the right related lists per the opportunity.
So can you go click on the button that the user would click on here to see what kind of actions it's running?
I don't think I have any actions in here.
Well, no. I mean down in the table.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah, thank you very much. Yes.
Where they click on the drawer to open the.
Yep. Here we go.
Okay. Very
right
cool.
Here. Yeah.
All right. So so this is the action framework in Skuid. So the point is that again this isn't a static spreadsheet. It's a dynamic application, and so the user can click on a button. They can click on a row action, and it's going to go get that row ID, plug it into that model to then go get that related information. And so we're only ever seeing the information that we need when we need it. And so you're doing a number of different things here because you've got some data operations. You're going to get related data, querying those models. So you're pulling that data from Salesforce. then you're doing some UI stuff because you're opening a drawer that has a couple elements in there. So that's really great because I want to call out, we're combining data operations, we're fetching data with UI operations where we're showing UI elements. And so that just, I think, shows the breadth of the action framework and everything that you can do to create that dynamic application that you want to deliver. So I'm going to actually stop us there and open things up and see if we have any questions from folks that are in attendance today that we can answer. That's a pretty big app that we just walked through with a good bit of functionality. So yeah, any questions that we can answer before we finish up today? Not seeing any immediately.
Well, we wait for a few questions here. Let me just sort of add something here to show how, how easy it is.
Do the one more thing.
So one more thing. So I'm often asked to put in fiscal. So let's put the fiscal time period in there. So I added it, goes at the end, but maybe I want fiscal near close date. So I can add that field and let's say my sales reps price book, because they just want to call it product. So I can change my label. I can click save.
Custom labels there.
Custom labels, and just go right back to the opportunity page. And there's my fiscal, and there's my label.
Excellent.
Yes. So very declarative, drag and drop, move things around, no code.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Don. I really appreciate it. Really exciting to see this. You know what? And let's point out one other thing, because you've applied some styles to this to give it some distinct branding. And you're doing that. How are you applying that visual style to your page?
Okay, so let's pull it up here. So what I do is I have a design system, and it happens to be called Material. So with Skuid, we have the design system studio. Let me pull that up here, where you can put in your company fonts and brands, colors, various. Pull up Material. Right here.
That's great. And what a design system is going to do is really define your look and feel, your visual elements for the whole app. And once you set that up, then you can really depend on that for, well, this is what my tables are going to look like. This is what my buttons are going to look like. And you can have that consistent look and feel across the whole app that you've got. So we probably don't have time to get into the whole piece of that, but that's going to be one of the things that's great about quickly spinning up branded apps, especially front end opportunity community. Thank you. Got my afternoon latte there. Anyways, yeah, that's great. So thank you so much for showing us this, Don. This is great stuff. And yeah, if you have more questions, please post them on the community.skuid.com. Go check out the website. A lot of resources there, past webinars. We've got another one coming up soon on portals and communities, which is going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, thank you for joining us. And Don, thanks so much for showing us this today.
You bet. Got to do it. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
See you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.